can take your face mask and you can shove them where the sun don't shine.
We all have sovereign rights, and we're just here to show and support that. Every time there's a crisis, the government uses that to pump up their authority and try and take away your rights. Just because there's a crisis, you don't lose your rights. Otherwise, you never really had any to begin with.
No. I have an immune system. I take my immune support, and that's it. I'm not guaranteed tomorrow no matter what.
I have 3 businesses in Idaho that are closed right now because they're deemed non-essential. I had to lay off all of my staff. I don't know that my business will survive to open in 2 weeks. We're losing our constitutional rights, and we are falling under a dictatorship, and that's not correct.
The numbers are false. You have, a 1% chance of dying. You have a larger percentage of dying of something else, but that's life. We can't continue to live in fear. Every time you get in the car to go to work, you have a chance of dying. Every time you walk outside of your front door, you have a chance of dying. You can't live your life sheltered because you're afraid of something.
I think the government has overstepped. We have rights. We have a personal responsibility for our health. We don't need them to tell us how to do it. And I think it's just a shame that we can't make those choices for ourselves.
The only way to get America going and Minnesota going again is to allow us to actually go back to work. And the longer we stay out of work, the more suicides you're going to get and the more unhealthy human beings are actually going to be.
You're looking pretty today, Lucy. Oh yeah, I spent the morning at the spa, the doggy spa, and got a nice little pedicure, and they washed me up really nice. Oh, but I thought the government said everything's illegal, it all has to be closed down. Well, those criminals, they don't own me. Welcome to, what is it now, day 10,000 of you being locked down in your home. Because the government said so. Some people are starting to get angry, but there's a criminal in New York, his name is Cuomo. He actually said that they can't really make you stay in your house. It's really all kind of voluntary.
Everything we're doing is basically voluntary on behalf of people, right? State government, local government, federal government doesn't have the power to enforce stay-at-home orders. If 19 million people said, I'm going out today, they would go out.
Oh, really? Well, if that's actually the case, that's very interesting. So why doesn't everyone just leave their homes and start doing stuff? That's really what people should be doing. We showed some of the protests at the start here. The problem with a lot of those protesters is they're going to people who are just criminals and begging them to be allowed to do something. I don't know if you know this. This might be brand new information to you. You don't need permission from anybody to do anything. Who told you that? Oh, maybe in the government schools for 12 years. Yeah, you don't need anyone's permission to do anything. Just ask Lucy. I don't need no permission. I'll eat my tacos and give kisses. Try to stop me, gonna get your ankles bit off. But they keep going on the television programming and they've always got the sign language people. Don't they have closed captioning? I think this is like something they're doing. It's like an extra level of kind of magic and mockery to put these people up doing all this weird stuff, just laughing in your face as you listen to them. So I thought maybe we should do that too. So this will be the first sign language edition of this episode of this channel. And I have to say right off the bat, I got my brother to do it, and he just started learning like yesterday sign language. So if you are a deaf person and you're not using the closed captions, which you might as well, it's actually on all the videos, he's going to do his best to try to do sign language, because that apparently is the new way that you need to, you know, if you don't do it, you're not very, you know, you got to do that. There's people out there who can't hear. And just by the way, I am absolutely not making fun of anyone who can't hear. There's actually a lot of ways that you can fix that. You should look into it. Stem cells. But definitely don't go to your doctor, because they will never cure anything. You ever notice that? Nothing ever gets cured. Cancer, anything. That's because it's not the point. The point is to raise billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, and to keep you on pharmaceuticals, which actually make you far worse. But anyway, we're going to do our best to do some sign language today and talk about this continuing lockdown. So the really insane part of all these lockdowns is there's absolutely no reason to do them. Ben Swan's been a friend of mine for many years. He spoke at Acapulco a few times. He does some really good stuff, and he did something really good just recently. I'm going to play almost the entire video. It's about 7 minutes long, as he puts together in a very professional manner. And I'm going to put a link to the video down below because I get it. You don't really necessarily want to share my videos with everyone, because I don't come across as a newscaster or someone who should be respected in any way, obviously. But if you want to share my videos, that's cool. But definitely share people like James Corbett's lies, damn lies, and coronavirus statistics, because they actually have a very professional style to them, which most people have been trained in the government school systems and by the mainstream media television programming, that if you act in this certain manner, then you're authoritative. But Ben really gets across in a very professional manner. He doesn't go into too many theories. I know he probably knows what's really going on, but he gives just the straight kind of facts right here. So I'm going to play it.
Well, welcome to the show. So much to get to today when it comes to the coronavirus, and specifically these projections that were so completely wrong about how severe the coronavirus would be. More importantly, how deadly it would be. And this is a very important question. And the reason for that is because there were essentially two medical institutions, if you will, that made projections about the death rate associated with the coronavirus. And those projections steered the decisions not just of politicians and leaders in the United States, but around the entire world. It is the reason that after 6 weeks, much of the world remains under lockdown. It was because of projections that were made of tens of millions of people dying. In fact, those projections claimed that here in the United States, as many as 2 million people would die from the coronavirus, and that's if we did nothing. And with social distancing, even if social distancing took place, we would still see over 200,000 people die as a result. Now, here we are 6 weeks into this. We know that there are 40,000 deaths attributed to the coronavirus, but those numbers are so flawed in so many ways. We're going to get to that in a few minutes. Let's talk first about these institutions. So there are two institutions, as I said, that essentially were the ones coming out and saying that there were enormous risks associated with the coronavirus. The first one is the IHME, the Institute for Health Metrics Evaluation, out of the University of Washington in Seattle. Now, taking that study and also one done by the Imperial College of London, so it's not even here in the US, the Imperial College of London insisted that over 200,000 people would die in the United States, and up to, if we did nothing, 2 million people would die as a result of the coronavirus. These numbers were completely flawed. They were completely wrong. How wrong were they? Well, April 2nd is when these initial claims were made. By April 5th, and then again on April 8th, both the IHME and the Imperial College of London actually significantly lowered not only their death count and what they predicted the death count would be, they also reduced the number of hospital beds that would be necessary and the number of ventilators that would be necessary. Why? Because the numbers were completely wrong. And when they saw that the numbers were completely wrong, they were able to go back and adjust so that they wouldn't look like they were completely wrong, and yet the effect of what they had said was already in place. Because even as the numbers were corrected, policies were not corrected. The Trump administration did not change their policies. States' governors did not change their policies. Mayors of cities did not change their policies because all of it was still based on the model that claimed 200,000 people would die. Now, what do these two institutions have in common? Well, it might sound conspiratorial, but you need to follow the money. Who is funding the IHME and who is funding the Imperial College of London? And the answer for both those institutes is the same: the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The IHME was actually launched in June of 2007, and it was launched based on a core grant of $105 million, primarily funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Then in 2017, the Gates Foundation actually came back and funded almost 3 times that amount to keep the IHME moving forward. Again, in 2017, the Gates Foundation provided the IHME with another $279 million grant. In addition to that, the Imperial College of London has also been receiving tens of millions of dollars in grants from the Gates Foundation, and $14.5 million from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in support of efforts to improve and expand access to healthcare in developing countries. Again, listen, there's nothing wrong with the Gates Foundation putting money into these institutes. What matters is whether or not the funding flowing into those organizations is skewing science, and whether or not the predictions they're making are science-based predictions or politically based predictions. So why do all of this? Well, Gates himself has said that the only way to get back to normal from this pandemic, which, as the numbers continue to come in, does not appear to be a pandemic at all, is if there is a global vaccine created and mandated for all populations around the world. That's what Gates is ultimately saying. It's what the IHME is saying. It's what the Imperial College in London is saying. Over and over, these organizations and the cronies of Bill Gates, people like Dr. Anthony Fauci, keep stating that the only way we get back to normal is if there is a global vaccine. And it's Gates himself who has invested in 7 different companies working to create that vaccine. And so what does all of this mean? Well, it simply means this, that in the moment when so many Americans, as I mentioned, 26 million Americans find themselves unemployed, when you have business owners who don't even know if they're going to be able to reopen again, when so many people's lives are being dramatically and severely impacted by this virus, and it's not even the virus that's severely impacting most people, it's the politicians' response to the virus that is significantly impacting people. As that is happening, we have to ask the question, are the decisions that are being made based on science or based on politics? Are the institutions that are being given credit as being authoritative basing their data on science or on politics? When companies like YouTube say that they will ban any video that contradicts the WHO, are they acting in the name of science or of politics? And when a politician decides that skewed numbers, made-up statistics, bad information, and projections that are flat out wrong can be used to guide your life in a way over which you have no power, well, in that case, government has gone too far. Guys, thanks for watching. That's our report for today. We'll have much more. Continue to follow this. I know you will too. Continue to follow me on social media, and we'll see you next time.
So definitely share that video with as many people as you can. That's really what it's all about. I said yesterday, I'm thinking maybe I should just stop doing this stuff. Got a lot of positive responses. So I will continue to do these things. And I do think they are working and effective. It's just some days, like with the hockey guy there, it's kind of like, why bother? But there really is a reason to do it. It does affect other people. I have zero doubts, none, that some people on that hockey guy channel started looking into this now. And as they start hearing more and more things, they'll start to go, hey, maybe they're right. And that's really the key. The problem is we don't have much time. If we can't get these lockdowns ended, and I don't mean the government says you're allowed to go outside anymore, I mean people just don't care. If we don't do it soon, the complete collapse of everything and massive famines, the food supply system's really been, if it's not opened up in days, max a week or two, you're going to see famines everywhere, including in the US. And what have I been saying for years? That this is coming. The US will start to look like Venezuela. Look at all the people lining up for their government handouts now. They can't leave their house. They're all bankrupt. 26 million people lost their jobs in the US alone. Extrapolate that to the world. We're easily talking hundreds of millions. This is the biggest event to ever happen, and all for no reason. It was just a scam, as Ben Swan pointed out. And here's some great guys still working. Yep, awesome. You're not supposed to. Who cares? A lot of people in Mexico. I'm going to be probably doing some traveling and showing what Mexico's like. There's some good and bad. Hola. Continuar a trabajar muy bien. Muy bien. Coronavirus es un mentiroso. Exactamente, no? Muy bien. I just said, continue working, thank you. He said, we're gonna. And I said, coronavirus is a lie. And they both said, exactamente, exactly. That's why I love Mexico. And again, I don't love the country. I don't love the government. I don't even care about the land mass. A lot of the people who live in this area are still very much alive and aware of what's going on. Compare that to the US, where high impact vlogs, great site I've said a few times now, did what I think everyone should be doing. He's leading by example. And he went out on the street with some flyers. And if you go to his site, you can actually download the flyer he uses. So if you don't want to make up your own, he's done that. And of course you can make up your own, but that just takes a little extra time. And he went out with some signs basically saying, this is a scam. And of course, what do you expect? He was in the land of the free, the home of the brave. So he had a lot of people, at least one that he showed, but I think there was a lot more than that, very angry at him. I'll play like a minute or two of it here.
We'll call her Cindy. Here's how that little interaction went.
How you doing?
Good. What's your name?
Brian?
Brian, what's your last name?
Young, why?
Brian Young. You are one smart one.
What's your name?
What's your name? My name is...
Oh, are you with us or against us?
Oh, we just, let the masses speak for themselves and science and,
Do you know what the
literally any other logical, following, yeah. I'll follow that.
Do you know what the case fatality rate for COVID-19 is?
Sure.
Why are you shaking? Do you know what the case fatality rate is?
Seriously, you should talk to me.
Yeah, we're not your enemies.
No, I'm shaking because I have narcolepsy and I also have a lot of other health problems, and then also I take my medication so I can drive legally and not fall asleep behind the wheel. And that medication kind of shoots up my neurological system like crazy, so it makes me a little shaky. I'm not scared. I'm honestly a little pissed.
Why?
Go fuck yourself and go fuck yourself.
No, we're not like.
Fuck yourself.
Wait, we're not like that to you. We're coming. We want to.
No, you're spreading misinformation.
No, hey, let's talk.
It's okay, hon.
No.
It's okay.
Your people are all over the internet. I don't need to hear you. You're not original. You don't have one original thought out of your goddamn head.
Do you know what the case fatality rate for COVID-19 is?
Honey, come here. Why did you come and talk to us?
Open up a goddamn science book.
It's okay, honey.
You gotta see it. How many of y'all...
All right, now at this point, I just wanted to walk up to her and try to calm things down by appealing to rationality, logic, and peace. Because let's face it, we're not going to have peace in this world unless we make an effort and start sowing peace. And this girl's obviously scared of the cerveza bug because she's been fed some serious misinformation like everybody has in the last 2 months. So me and Trish figured we're just going to give peace a chance and see if this girl would make an effort to have an honest conversation.
You don't have a bachelor's degree, and you don't have a bachelor's degree. None of y'all have bachelor's degrees.
I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Aerospace Administration with a minor in psychology.
Okay, then what are you?
Okay, the case... Wait, let's just talk real quick. Look, we're not your enemies, really.
Come here. It's okay. No, you're not my enemies. Don't be upset.
Yeah, we're not your enemies. We're your friends.
No,
We want you
I
to...
will see y'all in the face of the comments. Bye.
Honey, it's okay. It's okay, honey.
So as you can see, it's not easy. There are millions and millions and millions of people who are still in the matrix. They believe what they're told on the television programming and in the government schools and by the government with all their sign language people. But even that person, here's what I think. I bet that person goes and posts it on their Instagram and their Facebook and says, look at these idiots. And I'll bet at least one or two of their friends say, those guys were right. And then some of our other friends are going to start looking into it. You see how it happens? You can't wake someone up instantaneously, especially from this much indoctrination, this much propaganda. But what you can do is start moving them in that direction. As I said earlier, though, my only problem is if people don't start to get this very soon, that it might be too late. We're starting to see a lot of people not being able to handle their enslavement, complete enslavement. They don't say it that way. They say you're helping. Because if we all don't hide in our houses for a few months or a few years, grandma might die. What's wrong with you? Someone's grandma might die if we don't stop everything, stop all supply systems, and billions die of starvation. It's worth it if it saves one grandma. And we're starting to see, and I said this is going to happen, this is what all the tanks are for. People are starting to have enough of it and just freaking out. See, they don't get the answer, so hopefully share this vid on that in that respect. You don't need to go out and go crazy. Just start working again. Get a hold of all your working buddies, get a hold of your boss, and go, let's just go back to work. And if the cops come, let's stand up to them. Let's bring some guns, or if you're allowed, or knives, or just have at least 50 buddies on call. And when the cops come up, everyone just surround them and start moving in on them. You don't actually have to do anything. They'll actually start to run away at that point. Some of the biggest cowards in the world are police. That's why they're police. They're actually acting out their own cowardice because they believe they're so weak and cowardly. They want to get a job where they can get all the power and the guns and the thin blue line gang. It's like joining a gang. It's the exact same psychological thing for most people. So just do that. Just surround them, and that's all it takes. It wouldn't take many. If there's 3 groups of people who did that in every city right now, and don't come out with your Trump signs and your US flags, for crying out loud. Those flags are symbols of your oppression. I know you weren't taught that in government school, but there's a reason for that. Just start going back to work. So that way, when the media, mainstream media comes out, they're going to have to report. These people are trying to earn a living because they have families to support, and they've gone back to work. They're not chanting, please allow us. They don't have flags or Trump hats. Even if you have a Trump hat, take it off, because they will make it a political thing. They'll go, look at these far right wingers. Just go, no, I'm just a normal guy. But my kids, we have no food. So I decided, I know it's a little bit dangerous, but to go back to work. And you're seeing in the UK now, they reported 4,000 people arrested for domestic disputes. Those disputes, a great majority of them, would not have happened if the dad didn't just lose his business or his job. He's probably drinking a lot, probably quite suicidal. Suicides go up massively. I don't know if any new suicide reports have been published, but if they're legit, they'll probably skew the numbers way, 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 way up, I'm sure. The total death toll from what the governments are doing to the using these lies will be so far higher than any number that they ever predicted, which were all lies to begin with, all by Bill Gates. Even if it stops right now, every day it goes on, the death toll is going to get much higher. And certainly the poverty toll is already off the charts. Every single chart you see is 10 times worse than anything you saw in the Great Depression. Just got to stay home a little bit longer, guys. Couple more weeks, maybe a month, maybe to the end of summer. If you do that, you watch what the world looks like when you come out of your house. It's not going to be good. So please share a lot of this information. And it's pretty incredible to see how crazy things get. For example, I got this from Max Egan of the Crow House. He posted this. This is apparently cops forcing people to practice walking using social distancing in Peru. I don't know about you, but if someone with a gun came up and said, I'll kill you if you don't walk 6 feet away from other people from now on, for basically the rest of your life, until we get you all injected with vaccines that will kill most of you. I don't know about you, I don't really need much training. I'd be like, okay, 6 feet, yeah, I got it. Don't kill me, please. I don't even know if I would do that, actually. I really have not been confronted with anything like that yet. Hola. Yeah. Muy bien. Where's Lucy? Lucy! I doubt I would comply. So, we'll see what happens. Oh, there's Lucy. Muy bien, Lucy. Yeah, muy bien. There has been one benefit that has come out of this. There's been a few. A lot of people are starting to realize maybe we should just homeschool or unschool. This is so much better. Maybe a lot of people are realizing it's a waste of time to sit in your car all day, pay for the car, pay for the mortgage, which means death pledge, just to pay for enough food to survive while doing a job you hate. Maybe a lot of them are like, let's just move out to the woods somewhere, get a little place, grow a garden. I think that'd be way better. So there's been a number of positives, but, and I'll get into a bit more positives too, but I just wanted to point out one, for me personally. Bank wire transfers, which used to be, for me, the worst part of my day, week, month, or year. We try to send one transfer anywhere. Blocked, frozen, got a call, wait list like 8 hours, they get back to you. Well, who are you sending this to? Why are you doing that? Well, here's one thing. For at least the last week, I'm not gonna say which bank, I will say in the US, the horror of trying to transfer money has turned into a complete and total pleasure. We enter the wire transfer now, within seconds, we get an email response, your wire has been sent. Kind of the way it should be. And the reason it is, and the banks all send out these stuff, and they say, hey, a lot of our employees are staying home, and we have to really ratchet back on a lot of stuff. And that's why transferring money has become the way it should be now, because almost everyone who works at the bank isn't working. Please never let them go back to work. The bank actually works the way it should right now. It's almost as fast as Bitcoin, but way more expensive. So that's one good thing. But really what is going on, This gets to a more spiritual level. And I really like what you call Native Americans. I like almost all Native people. They are almost always the best people. And they always have the right attitudes, whereas people like us from the West have a lot of wrong attitudes. Not on everything. Some of the great things that Western people have really, in the past, not anymore, it's over, it's dead now, is like free markets. And that's what's actually created so much wealth in this world. But wealth and money isn't everything. And in that respect, many of these, what they call natives, and that's what most people here in Mexico are, by the way. They're just Native American Indians. A lot of them have mixed with the Spanish, but not all. There's still a lot of natives. They're basically the same as the Indians in the US, but they're just the Indians down here. And they have different tribes, and down here they're the Mayans and the Aztecs. But here's a thing from a Hopi elders that actually was put out in the year 2000. And I think it's never more relevant than right now what the Hopi elders are saying. And you know that old saying that you should, it's not trust your elders, but like respect your elders. That's what it is. That's actually true if your elders are halfway decent, awake people. In the West now, you just got all these 80-year-olds who are all like, get out and vote, I want my Medicare. Don't respect them at all. They're statist, welfare leeching whores. But in the old days, and in some cultures, the elders actually are the smartest people. And so here's their message. It's called, "We are the ones we've been waiting for. You have been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relations? Where is your water? Know your garden. It is time to speak your truth. Create your community. Be good to each other. And do not look outside yourself for your leader." Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, "This could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, see who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for." Pretty powerful and very true. There is a shift. I don't know what it is. A lot of these ancient cultures talk about it. The Mayans said around 2012. The hippies say it's the age of Aquarius now. Even from a sort of a religious sort of aspect, a lot of the people who follow that say this is the apocalypse, which means revelation. All will be shown. And maybe a big part of this is what's going on today. This is the final push by those who wish to use force against others, control them, enslave them, and impoverish them, are giving their very last push. And those who cling to that system, and that's a lot of those people like in that High Impacts vlog, that lady, they're trying to cling to the system. Do as you're told. Listen to the mainstream media. Listen to the government. Sorry, lady, your time is past. We're not doing that anymore. We're all individuals, and there's only one rule. Do not use force against others. That is the new world. And if you're not ready for it, you're going to have a really bad time. And if not enough of us do anything, it's possible we might not reach that new world just yet. So do like that elder from the Hopi tribe said. Hang on, there's Lucy. Become an individual. Have no leader outside of yourself. No leaders? That's a Greek word. Anarchia. An without, archaea, ruler. Now is the time. The world has been in a spell for I don't know how long. Hundreds or thousands of years and maybe longer. And there's been a sinister aspect to it of force and control and domination and wars, impoverishment, central banking, inflation, hyperinflation, police, government police, that the last thing they do is serve and protect you. You know who they serve, and you know who they protect. And those people did fairly well for quite a long time. Hundreds of millions of people died. It's called democide. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of people were killed by a belief in this system. And if we do the right things right now, that system can be all washed away. Start using cryptocurrencies, private cryptocurrencies. I would recommend Bitcoin and Monero. Something that cannot be controlled by anyone, because as Henry Kissinger said, those who control the money control the world. So let's make sure we never use a money again that anyone can control. And you cannot control Bitcoin or Monero, or many other cryptocurrencies as well. Not all of them, of course. Stop your voting. Stop paying when they try to extort you. Don't stand up when they play their hypnotic national sing-along. If you can ever go to a game again. But all of that depends, and this is not an exaggeration, on only one person. Only one person needs to do this, and everything will change. Do you know who that person is? I'll give you a hint. Walk up to a mirror and look into it, and look really into your eyes. Who are you? What are you? Why are you here? Are you here to hide in your house? Are you here to live in slavery? Are you a real person who deserves to live in freedom without other people oppressing or enslaving them? Ask yourself that question. And once you get the answer, get out there and change it. It is totally true. One person can change the world. And don't worry, you will not be alone. You will at least be with Lucy. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. No one rules me. We're all incredible conscious beings living in an incredible experience full of tacos and kisses. Never forget that. Hello.
You've seen the Dollar Vigilante on mainstream media trolling the fake news, and seen Jeff Berwick travel inside places like Venezuela and Cuba to expose the truth about what's happening in those socialist paradises. To get even more, make sure to subscribe to the Dollar Vigilante newsletter to receive 2 full 30-plus page issues from the Dollar Vigilante each month, plus market alerts on precious metals, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and gold mining stocks by going to dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. Click on the link in the notes below or go to dollarvigilante.com/subscribe to find out more. Bye.